If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support truly keeps us moving forward. Have you ever paused for a moment and wondered when your life stopped feeling like it belonged to you? That question struck me one ordinary Thursday morning as I stood before the mirror studying my reflection. The same face, the same tired eyes that used to shine with hope, the same practiced smile that had long learned to conceal too much. From the outside, my life looked enviable. A cozy home tucked away in the quiet suburbs of Seattle, a husband who never forgot an anniversary, and two bright, beautiful children whose laughter filled the kitchen every morning. It looked picture perfect. But beneath that surface, everything was quietly crumbling in ways no one could see or name. My name is Rachel Porter, and once upon a time, I believed I had life all figured out. I followed every rule, built a career, cared for my marriage, and raised a family. I checked every box on life's list. Yet somehow, in doing everything right, I lost touch with what made me me. For years, I mistook being reliable for being happy. I thought showing up for everyone else was the same as showing up for myself. But somewhere between school drop-offs, work deadlines, and late-night grocery runs, I disappeared from my own story. I couldn't even recall the last time I felt truly seen. Not as a mother, not as an employee, but simply as Rachel. Ethan, my husband, was a good man. Quiet, steady, and endlessly dependable. He was the kind of person who noticed a leaky faucet before it turned into a problem, who always paid the bills on time, and who, before the due date even arrived, Ethan had already paid the bills. We'd been married for 12 years, and though our love had once burned fiercely, it now lingered like a dying ember. Warm, but without light. We rarely fought, yet we barely spoke. We lived side by side, orbiting one another like two distant planets that had forgotten they once shared the same sun. It wasn't anger that hollowed me out. It was emptiness. Some nights, I'd lie awake listening to Ethan's calm, steady breathing and wonder if he ever felt it too. The quiet ache of being together, yet feeling utterly alone. I never asked. Maybe I was afraid of what he might say. Or worse, what he wouldn't. Then came Lucas Grant. He joined our marketing team as a freelance designer, confident, composed, carrying a quiet kind of charm that drew people in effortlessly. His presence filled a room without him needing to try, and his smile lingered in the air long after he'd walked away. The first time he spoke to me, it was nothing more than a casual remark during a meeting. But something in his tone, something in the way his eyes met mine, unsettled me. It wasn't attraction, not yet. It was recognition. A faint flicker of aliveness, something I hadn't felt in years. A few days later, after a long brainstorming session, he said something that stopped me cold. "You always hold everything together, don't you?" It was such a simple sentence, but it hit me harder than I expected. No one had ever said it like that before. Noticed the effort, the weight, the quiet exhaustion hidden behind the smile, and in that moment, I understood how deeply I wanted to be seen. That was where it began. Not an affair, not yet, but a spark I couldn't contain. At first, I convinced myself it was harmless. Just friendly conversation, mutual respect between colleagues. But boundaries have a strange way of dissolving when attention starts to feel like air after years of suffocation. Lucas asked about my favorite books, the music I used to love in college, the places I'd always dreamed of visiting. Questions that had nothing to do with work, but everything to do with me. He listened, truly listened, and I didn't realize how much I'd been starving for that until then. With Ethan, our conversations had turned into lists and logistics. Who's picking up the kids? What's for dinner? Did you pay the water bill? We were functional, responsible, polite, but we weren't us anymore. One evening, after the kids had fallen asleep, I tried to close the distance between us. "Do you ever feel like we're just existing?" I asked. He looked up from his laptop, puzzled. "What do you mean?" "I don't know," I said with a forced laugh. "Just tired, I guess." He gave a faint smile. "We're all tired, Rach. That's life." Then he kissed my forehead and went back to typing. That was the night I realized how loneliness could live right beside you and still go unnoticed. The next morning, Lucas stopped by my desk holding a cup of coffee. "You look like you could use this," he said with a small grin. I wanted to tell him not to be kind, because kindness, when you've been starving for it, feels dangerously close to temptation. But instead, I smiled and said softly, "You have no idea. It wasn't flirtation, it was connection. Quiet, fragile, forbidden, and it began to take root. I found myself watching the clock, waiting for meetings he'd be in, checking my phone more often, putting a little extra thought into how I dressed. I told myself it was nothing,